And I'm Telly.
And we're the HercastleGirls.
Yes, we're here again.
We are so ready to deliver this video to you. Today, of course, we are doing It's All Connected by HercastleGirls, our podcast on all the podcast streaming services that you know of. You can find us there. And today we are talking about a topic that we all experience. And of course, that topic is the topic of fear. Where it comes from, why we experience it, but how to work with it and actually create some great changes in our life fueled by the fear.
Isn't that amazing how fear can actually be your fuel to like propel you into your destiny?
Yes, it can.
We're going to unpack all of that.
Yes, we are. So if you love videos on mindset, motivation, business, and life, personal development, then you need to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, like this video, and leave us a comment. We love to hear from our soulful creators.
That's what you guys are. You're the soulful creators. Let's hear us souls creating together.
That's it. So definitely subscribe to our channel.
Every week we'll come with a new episode to help elevate your life, bring you some insight. That's just what we do. We're here to help. Like this video because it'd be great to get this all across the nation so everyone can learn how to use their fear to their advantage.
Let's get into this content.
Let's do it. Car, let's talk about fear. One of our favorite franchise movies just happens to be Fast and the Furious.
We love a lot of action films. For people that are very peaceful and mindful, we do love action films, but I think that's just something from our childhood. You know, that's how we would bond with a lot of the males in our family, our father. It's sort of like a nostalgic thing where, you know, you can sit down and watch a really good action film.
Right.
Which Fast and the Furious, it has more good movies than that.
That's so true. This time watching it, we did both come to almost like a eureka kind of thing, like, wait a minute. It's almost like we didn't realize it before and until now. One of course, everyone knows Dominic Toretto, his beautiful lady, Letty, sorry. And as usual, Letty is helping Dom to take down yet again another truck to steal something, electronics or whatever the case may be. And as usual, Letty is the one that climbs her little body out of the car and does these death-defying stunts to help pull over this truck to get whatever goods they're after. And Dominic, of course, is happy for this because his lady is the ride or die, which I think most men, they want that ride or die woman that will go all the way
I don't know,
to the end.
Or is that just a perceived belief?
I turned to you and I remember saying, Car, isn't it weird though? Like, this poor woman is literally putting her life on the line. She's bungee cording herself into the air to get on this truck to get whatever goods are in there so that Dominic can have the rewards and do whatever he wants, whether he sells it at his shop or puts it online. I don't know what he's doing with it, but we were talking about this and I remember I turned to you and I said, it's interesting how Letty represents a lot of women, maybe not to the same degree as Letty, but then again, a lot of women are actually probably even more so because, you know, there are a lot of women that are in these relationships with their man, whether the man is doing illegal things or maybe he's just not treating her right, whatever the case is. They're so fearful of stepping out that they stay living in this toxic relationship.
Bring it down to earth a bit because right now you're thinking of Vin Diesel and the cast of Fast and the Furious. But bringing it down to earth, what we're really talking about here is dysfunctional, toxic relationships and why they exist. We can look at many people in our lives and see how many people have lived in toxic relationships for decades. And when you look at the nitty-gritty of it, you know, we look from the outside and you say, oh, well, it's love. It's unconditional love. But when you look at it from another perspective and you really dig and find out the motivations behind the people in this relationship,
right,
you find that they are together because they're fearful of being alone.
right.
And I think in the situation of a Letty with, you know, a partner that constantly puts her
Right.
in these positions of endangering her life,
Yes.
she's attracted someone that she magnetized.
Right.
She is doing something that brought in a man like this into her life. And yes, we can romanticize it, and it looks great for TV, it looks great for the movies, it makes great movie trailers, but in real life, this would be considered a bad relationship, and a therapist would immediately warn the woman to start making moves in moving on. I believe Letty is the way she is because of fear. No one wants to be alone. No one wants to suffer.
Right.
And whatever you value, you know, if you value a loving relationship, the last thing you want to do is do something that's going to allow you to leave a loving relationship.
True.
Thinking of fear, I go into the whole, well, why are we where we are? Why do we stay where we are?
Right.
And that's not only with people,
Right.
but with certain jobs, certain friendships, certain countries. You know,
Yeah.
what is the cause of you staying in that very position?
Because you did say something that really hooked me there. Because you said that Letty basically like attracted the Dominic's character. It's almost like she like you could say she manifested this type of character.
Because remember, right? Whatever your frequency is,
Right.
whatever you're vibrating,
Right.
that is what you attract. So Letty, we're not really sure she loves herself.
Well,
if you're jumping on the side of trucks and scratching yourself up and risking your life weekly to help your boyfriend rob people, you probably don't love yourself.
I don't think she does.
The idea that you're enabling him, first of all, to do something that endangers his life means that you're endangering your life, and you're projecting. Everything is a mirror.
Right.
Everything is a reflection. Whatever you are, you look in the mirror, whatever that reflection is, it's coming back at you.
Right.
So she did manifest a relationship with a gangster.
But she keeps doing this. She's addicted to this pattern because in her back of her mind, she's like, well, it's okay if I get thrown around. I know that Dominic will save me. And I guess you could also bring that into people that have jobs. Well, it's okay if this person at work is still, abusing me. At least they have a job. So I'll just stay here in this comfort zone. Or get in a relationship or something.
And here's the thing. It's easier to live in fear than to step out and leap out into courage.
Girl. Let me see that again.
It's easier to live in fear than it is to leap out and step into courage.
That part.
When you really want to know if someone is living life, you ask them, how many mistakes have you made? How many times have you failed? And I always feel that if you haven't failed, you haven't actually ever learned anything. Because learnings don't come unless you've failed.
Right.
Learnings don't come unless you've stepped out into the deep, stepped off of a cliff. That's where the real adventure begins.
Why do we fear?
I know, fear is annoying, but we have to remember what its natural purpose is. And the purpose of fear is to keep us safe.
Right.
If you've ever watched any documentaries on the development of babies growing up very early on in their life, before their conscious mind is actually a thing,
right,
while there's still little subconscious minds, crawling around, they are, yes, and very cute, they are developing the idea of fear. Very early on, babies will be crawling,
right,
and when they come near the end of a table, they know to stop. Now, this is just something that is naturally inbred in us, where we will not do something to hurt us.
Right.
It's a natural thing. So fear as a reframe is actually a good thing. Fear is here to keep us safe.
Right.
It's here to give us the adrenaline we need to, say, run away from lions, tigers, and bears.
Oh my.
Yes. However, what's happened to humanity is that fear has now seeped into things where it doesn't need to be present. For instance, telling someone that you love them. People are fearful.
Right.
People are fearful of saying, I do not like this part of my job. I need to either look at the job description again,
right,
or resign.
Right.
It is stopping us from taking a chance on our own self. It's stopping us for trusting our own intuition. When it comes to intuition,
right,
I find that people now, they don't even want to trust themselves. They would be sooner to trust their friends, because they're like, well, I'm afraid of trusting myself, but I'm not afraid of trusting my friend.
Your friend isn't even qualified to tell you what to do in the first place.
Exactly, because it's not their life. They haven't seen your experience. They don't know your experience. I think of a quote, and the quote is, I am what I think you think I am. So even our personalities are built around the idea of, I need to belong, and if I don't belong, I'll be lonely, and if I'm lonely, I will be sad, and if I'm sad, I will feel this way. And there's a whole, you just
never-ending downward spiral.
Yeah, you just chunk down until really it's all about feeling a lack of love.
Wow.
And fear is the vehicle that takes us there.
Building block of more like excuses, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah.
To just say, okay, well, I'm not going to do this because you want to learn how to roller skate, for example. Maybe someone had a bad experience growing up. They fell too many times and they're just like, nah, I never want to roller skate again. When it comes to that kind of paralyzing fear, I mean, I know that some people say, oh, you know, you have to face it head on. Some people try to.
I know.
And it doesn't really pan out the way.
Fear, no matter what, it's coming. It's going to be there. It happens to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It happens to Oprah Winfrey.
Absolutely.
It happens to your neighbor. But the difference is how you use that fear. Okay. Now, for me, I believe, and this is why I believe, no matter what, always go back to the breath. You know, the breath is the one thing that's gonna stick with you from the day you were born to the moment that you die. Right. And it's the only thing. You're gonna lose friends, you might lose spouses, you might break up with your children, you might never, you know, you're not gonna spend the rest of your life with your parents, but you are going to have your breath.
That's it.
And
it's like the one sounding thing
it's
you
the
can depend on.
one thing that's not going anywhere until you're done. Right. It's here for your life journey. Right. And when people are fearful, it's a matter of coming back to the present moment. And this is why I believe so much in meditation. I believe that breathing, just the idea of breathing, can bring us back to the sense of home. Our thoughts are racing. When you talk to a friend, they will be talking to you, and in your mind, you are thinking about 20 other things while listening to your friend. And you are not even focused enough to stick to one challenge before moving on to the next. Right. So, because we're so preoccupied, we tend to not really sit down in the present moment and say, okay, I'm fearful of moving to another country. Right. I'm fearful of moving to another state. Why am I fearful? Are you asking those questions? Like you're breaking it down to find the root of the root. Because sometimes the fear isn't, I'm afraid of moving to a different country. Right. Sometimes the fear is, I'm afraid of not being near my parents. That's a thing. I'm afraid of not having friends. Right.
So that's the actual fear.
That's the fear. When you know what the actual fear is, then you can work on it. If you know that you're fearful of not being able to make friends in the new country, then what you'll start to do is you'll start joining groups on Facebook.
Right.
You'll start looking for forums and different blogs where you can meet other people that have perhaps lived in the country that you lived in and moved to that new country.
Right.
And you can start chatting with them before you even leave your country and
Right.
have friends when you get there.
I love that.
But you won't find that out unless you start doing the right discovery questions with yourself. Use the fear to take inspired action.
I don't want to say self-hate, but I want to say almost like
Self-doubt.
self-doubt.
Yeah. People, so we're trained not to, we're trained to fear our own thoughts.
Right.
We are trained to believe that whatever is going on up here for ourselves is not right. How are we supposed to live our most authentic life? Our authentic life.
Right, yeah, exactly.
If we are basing everything we do on what another person thinks based upon their fear.
Right. We discussed this as well, where, some people, you want an opinion, and nothing's wrong with getting opinions from
Right.
people. They, that's fine. But sometimes you ask the wrong person, and, maybe they had a bad experience. We've all had experiences where things have gone, AWOL. That's fine. That happens. It's called life. But unfortunately, you ask that person, I'm thinking about opening a bakery, and maybe that friend had a bad experience opening something.
Right.
And that friend is just like, are you crazy? No. The gift that you had is now buried so deeply.
Exactly.
And it's not even your fear to carry.
Exactly. It leads me to think of the fear of not belonging. I know that when I decided I was gonna go down the path of mindfulness and spirituality, I was leaving behind, a world where I was, very much, and you were as well, very much in the fashion industry.
Oh,
very
yes.
much into consumerism,
Yes.
buying. It was all about the fit.
It was all
about,
the trends,
looking
the
great,
trends.
the trends. Still love clothes, up to this day. However, my mindset around it was very unhealthy.
That part.
When I decided that I was going to live my life a different way, I was walking in fear for the first couple of months, running Bright Mindset project, because I thought, what will my friends think? And they're all going to think I've lost it. They're going to stop talking to me, and I'm gonna have to find friends that are more aligned. And how long is that gonna take?
You were building
we're in
whole
the middle of a pandemic. I can't go to events. Like, I built up this whole story.
This whole storyboard of what you felt that hasn't happened, but
right. And I found out that, and this is a quote that I take from Think Like a Monk from Jay Shetty. And the quote is, when you try to live your most authentic self, some of your relationships will be put in jeopardy. Losing them is a risk worth bearing. Finding a way to keep them in your life is a challenge worth taking on. So the idea is you know what? I can teach people around me why my life is better now that I do this.
Absolutely.
I can use this as an opportunity to help other people. And when I started to reframe the possibilities, the fear started to dwindle.
With you using Bright Mindset Project, brightmindsetproject.com, I also feel that if that person's a real friend, and they really appreciate and respect you as a person, no matter what path that friend wants to take, they should support you regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool when you have a support system where people, despite the difference, they're still a lover of you and your business. I also want to talk about fear in sense of mental therapy, because a lot of people, what's funny, mental health is on such a platform right now. There's still a stigma around it in every type of community. I can't even say that it's specific. There are some people who feel, okay, they know something is wrong, but they're afraid to even seek help.
And this is a perspective that someone can take. And if you're a person that's afraid of taking the step into working on your mental health, I will ask you this. How is your life doing sitting in the stress and anxiety of fear right now? How do you think your life would feel if you could just put down the fear, the stress, and the anxiety? How would your life change?
Right.
What would you get up right now and do if you didn't have to worry about being afraid all the time? How would it feel to wake up in the morning and be so energetic that you don't want to go back to bed? I remember what it was like to not want to get out of bed, not because I was exhausted,
Right.
but because I was sad.
Right.
And fear is going to keep you in that dark place, and you're going to
Be consumed.
and you're going to pass away never knowing what the beauty of life could have been. I will say, as someone that suffered from mental illness and dealt with it, your life is going to be a lot better once you start working at it.
I can't agree more.
If you're fearful of going into an office physically, there are too many ways. For me, my practice is virtual. There are many apps online, many other mindful websites where you can get content. You don't even have to leave your house. You can do this work in secret. You don't need all your friends and family to know that you're doing this work.
Once people get over the fear of just talking to a complete stranger, I think that's when they'll finally be like, okay, this is fine. I can do this.
You have the choice to be honest and do the work that it takes, or you can sit in the fear and let it consume you. There is no in between here. There are people that are sitting out there and they will sit in their fear and they will love their life that way, and that is fine.
That's all they'll ever know.
Right. But this message is for people that are sitting on the fence and wondering, what would happen if I could just get over the fear of dating again? If I got over the fear of, saying hi to the coffee making person at Starbucks. Like, how would my life be different if I just stepped out of the fear?
You can take your fear and have it drive you instead of, hold you hostage. You'll see that life is actually so much more easier to live. What happens if I fall? And then the person says, well, what happens if you fly?
Right.
And I think that this is something that, like you were saying, everyone has a fear. So don't feel like you're different or feel like you're out of place. You're in great company because everyone fears something.
And always remember that fear is here as a motivator as well.
That's right.
If you fear being in, a certain situation for the rest of your life, use that fear to change things. So you can use the fear to motivate you to move on to greater things.
So true.
And you're fully capable of doing it. You just have to believe in yourself, believe in your intuition, and know that if you can see it, if it's going on in here, that means that's what's meant for you.
It's meant for you.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Thank you so much for watching our conversation today. We always love hearing from you. So definitely, if you have not subscribed yet,
what are you waiting
for?
It's
time.
Right?
It's time to subscribe, and it's time to join the Soulful Creator
Just join
family.
us already. You know you want to. Because you've been watching these videos. So clearly, there's a connection here. Join us.
Join us. Click that notification bell, leave us a comment below, and visit our website, brightmindsetproject.com. Follow us on Instagram. HercastleGirls and Bright Mindset Project are the handles. And you guys have the most greatest week ever.
Yes, have a great week. We hope this convo inspired you to maybe step out the box a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!
Bye!